Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rachelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, joined by my lovely wife, Rachelle, as always, and we got some friends with us. Mr. Shane Lynn, Mr. Mr. Lawson Lynn from Townsend Spice and Supply. And they were kind enough to come out with us this week. And we did a video for the YouTube channel on how to make a basic rub. That was something that I never really had a rub recipe on there. I don't know why. I just never thought about doing it. But when you guys mentioned that y'all would, like to show people a kind of a jumping off point for a rub, I said, man, that's a great idea. So we did it.
Yeah. Worked well.
What y'all think? It wasn't that bad being on camera, was it?
No, it wasn't too bad.
That's what I tell folks. Some people get nervous, but there's nothing to it. Yeah, they did great.
I say you edit most of mine out, probably.
Edit your Hey, Shell's the edit person, so she can make magic happen. You got to see what she does for me.
It was the fastest.
She can put 100 pounds on you or take 100 pounds off.
Depends on how I'm feeling.
Depends on how you're feeling, yeah.
But yeah, we get a lot of people ask, like, what's a good rub recipe? I want to make my own rub. Some people have allergies, some people have aversions, So.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There's a ton of great rubs out on the market. Y'all do co-packing. That's kind of, I guess, your background. We'll get into that. But there's a ton of great stuff to buy on there. I mean, there's, store brand stuff and all the, barbecue teams. There's a ton of great teams that have good products. But you still get guys that want to make their own, or they have, have something like that. And that's what we wanted to show them, that you can make a basic rub with ingredients that you probably already have. If you don't, you can run to Walmart or anywhere and get them, and then put it together in the right combination to where you could go and cook with it.
Yeah, and the advantage to making your own rub is you know exactly what's in it.
Yeah, that's true, man.
You never know what you're getting in some of these rubs you buy off the shelf at Walmart.
That's right. You don't know what kind of ingredients they use, and heck, that's a big part for some people, especially like you said, you got allergies or something like that. If you're, or somebody you're feeding has, what you put in it. So
yeah, we get a lot of questions of, they have family, their child or their mother or whatever has, allergies
or diabetic or something like that. Because there's a lot of people that, can't have the sugar, but they still want to make a decent tasting barbecue. That's something I've kicked around. Have y'all ever done a sugar-free diabetic type rub? I mean, AP doesn't have any sugar in it, but
we make a lot of people would rather have no salt. That's
really, salt's a big thing too.
Yeah.
Sodium content.
I mean,
my doctor stays on me about salt content, and everything I have has salt in it.
We have a lot of people come in and say, "Can you do this? We want to do this, but can you take this out?"
Yeah,
it's going to be some kind of health issue. Generally, it's salt, but like I said, occasionally you'll have sugar.
Yeah, more so salt though, for sure.
It's important to us too. We try to keep a clean label.
Yeah.
Try to keep the chemicals
no junk.
out. Yeah, just do the best you can to keep it simple and clean, and and you can do well with that, and that way you don't have to answer those questions if you.
That's true. That's a big market. People. That's that whole food type mentality. Sure. That you want best possible ingredients you can get, least amount of chemicals or non-GMO, all that stuff.
Yep.
Well, how would you do a sugar-free rub? I mean, it would just be, you just completely eliminate the sugar, or is there something you could put in the
A lot of people, like when we get asked for a sugar-free rub, most of the time we won't put any kind of sugar in it because people don't really understand, like fructose is an all-natural fruit sugar. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, a lot of people that are diabetic can eat fructose.
Really?
Yeah.
Body breaks it down different, I guess. Yeah.
Because it's a natural, it's a fruit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the sugar pulled out of it. But generally, we'll just take it completely out.
You don't use like sugar. Do you ever play with sugar substitutes any kind of way?
No, not really, because we always prided ourselves in not using chemicals, no anti-caking, none of the sodium phosphates, whatever they're called.
So, I guess let's do a little bit of background on y'all. So y'all got into the rub business. Townsend, y'all are from Melbourne, Arkansas, right?
Yeah, yes,
that's about a little bit north of Jonesboro, I guess, or it's on the or close to the White River up there in that area.
Yeah.
North Central Arkansas. Izzard County, right?
Izzard County.
What's the population?
13,900.
Look out, I hear you. That's a pretty big county. But yeah, so y'all got into the spice business how long ago?
2012.
Yeah.
So it's okay. So roughly 6 years, 7 years, something like that.
When I graduated high school,
y'all started the spice business, and Townsend Spice and Supply had been around for a while, right? Y'all just
1978, Richard Townsend started the business to target butcher shops. He made sugar cure, sausage seasoning, and he ran a route. He sold knives, drove all over Arkansas, part of Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas. Had a little route and done well with it, but he died suddenly, and John Hatfield worked for his wife, or worked for him when he passed away, and she was going to close the business in 1982, I believe.
Yeah.
And John bought it, and a lot of the genius that we have today and some of these old things we have, he come from him.
Really?
He had a really good knack for flavor and breaking things down and growing the business, and we still sell lots of things that he created, that we've really done well with.
Yeah.
like house Townsend label stock products.
I mean, we've came up since 2012. We've probably came up with 10 products that we sell regularly, and we've got 40 different blends. And he came up with every one of them.
Really,
and he was just pretty well a chemist. I mean, he didn't really know it, but he was just a chemist in disguise.
We have Blue Label sausage seasoning and our sugar cure that's been around since the beginning.
Yeah, 1978. We have Richard Townsend's old recipe book that he
handwritten recipes. That's cool.
Handwritten all the recipes.
Yeah,
we've still got it in our office there, and I mean, we have went back to it. Like we just make sure we can't forget where you come from.
Yeah. So I know y'all do a lot of co-packing too, commercial like for restaurants, things like that. But you also the little guy, somebody that's got a recipe that wants to develop a rub. Y'all do that as well.
We do.
Yeah. And so that's a big part of it. And that's kind of what I thought would be good for us to talk about today was what it's like. If I got a rub recipe, I'm out there, I've been working on this, but I'm thinking about getting it bottled. I may have never talked to a co-packer. What would it be like to talk to you guys? Just kind of tell us about the process, what a small guy could start out with.
When generally that call comes to me first. I take that call on and try to establish what type of customer we're talking about, what they're looking for. Get the recipe. It goes to Lawson. He busts down the cost and he looks at it and says, whether we can or can't the way they want it, how it's going to turn out. And generally we'll send out, like I say, we get through that process. We send out a round of samples. First round, don't charge anything for that. Just we try to do something that nobody else does anymore. Everybody's grown into this, this big conglomerate, if you would, and we're trying to keep that. The guy starting out, he can't spend all that money to do those things and all that research and everything, and you never know who the next big guy's going to be.
That's right. That's right.
So, and we try to give everybody the same shake. And
so how much? So just to throw a ballpark, I'm not asking you to quote, but what would it take? What would somebody expect to spend if they had a recipe they wanted to work with the co-packer to get it in a bottle?
Get it in a bottle. I mean, it's kind of difficult to say what it's going to cost because we don't know. I mean, of course, every recipe is going to cost a little different, but the problem we're coming into now is we hand bottled everything, and if people wanted 5 or 10 pounds of their own rub, they could call me and I'd make it for them. Send it to them, no problem. But now we got this new automated bottler, and if you don't set up and run 250 pounds, I mean, it's really not worth the time that it takes to set it up, pull it down. But,
and that's probably like 26 cases, something like that.
Yeah,
if you're running 250 pounds,
there's 12 bottles in a case.
In a case.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, though, we still we don't want to lose sight of where we started and try to keep that guy that calls and says, I've got money. Some of it, and I send emails every day back and say, well, here's kind of the basis. We'd like to, it doesn't mix well if you don't buy 100 pounds. And, and some guys can't pull that off, but they don't, they're just testing the water. And, but a lot of guys will go ahead and step up and say, hey, let's try this. And not always will they bottle it. They just want it in bulk. And,
Well, I mean, because there's different ways you could use it. If you're not going to try to take it to retail, you may just want to make it for the year because it's the shelf life on a lot of these products. A year minimum is what they are, and then some of them will even go further than that. There's not a lot of spoilage in them.
If you'll keep it dry, keep it in a controlled temperature in the year up to 2 years.
There's no problem.
Yeah, no problem. Especially that bulk box. It's a liner tied.
Sunlight can't get in it.
Sunlight can't get in it, and it's amazing. It'll stay good for a long
Air
long
and
time.
sunlight is the biggest killer.
Yeah.
When you open up, a bottle of anybody's rub, air and sunlight is what gets it. But I guess what I've noticed is they get saltier as time goes on. I guess the half life of the seasoning, the flavors of all that kind of mellow out. Mm-hmm. They go more towards neutral, and the salt just kind of stays prevalent. And that's about the only thing you're going to notice on some if they go too long.
And that's the thing about salt. Salt stays salt forever.
Stays salt, yeah.
I mean, a lot of stuff loses its pungency and just kind of goes bland, but salt, it's going to be salty forever.
About the only thing you'll lose shorter than a year will be sage and sausage blends. I tried, if you've got more sausage season you can use up in probably 6 months, even sealed. Sage just gets real weak to me. It does the same thing in the sausage, if you're.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything else stays pretty fresh.
So, I guess y'all are signing no compete kind of. You got some kind of contract. Be the first step. Somebody has something, they call you, send you a recipe. Do you send back samples pretty quick, or what's the process of like? Say if I got one a rub that I've got the recipe for, and I want you to see if you can duplicate it.
So
how long does that take, or what happens?
So you call me on Monday with a recipe, or email me, and I'll take it over and look at it, get with Dad, and say, you think there's anything that needs to be changed? You think there's anything because a lot of people they think they want these fancy high dollar ingredients, but they don't know.
Right.
And we'll look at it and we'll kind of recommend before we just say, okay, yeah, we'll make this sample for you. We'll kind of say, here, I think this is the direction you should go. Why don't we try this? Let me make this for you and send it to you and see what you think. Generally, a 7-day turnaround. On
wow, really? That's quick. That's pretty quick then.
Especially if they've got a recipe. Now, the people that call and say, okay, here's this. I don't know what's in it.
Just create it.
Yeah. I've bought 5 different guys' seasonings. Mixed them all together equal parts, and this is what I want. Well, you've got 40 ingredients.
I bet you see that a lot too.
Yeah, people think,
copy them and trying to copy something. Yeah.
You've got this machine up there. You can just dump it, and it'll spin it out to exactly what it is.
No, it don't work like that.
That machine is taste buds.
Yeah.
So what do you do in that case?
A lot of times, they've got to have a recipe of some kind. They'll say, okay.
That's when the people I work with, that's the same thing. You got to have some type of recipe.
But I've had people come in and say, okay, we use Malcolm's AP rub, Lowry seasoned salt, Johnny Trigg smoking gun, and here's how we mix it. I'm like, okay.
That's not really a recipe.
I know. That's what the man like. You can't make that? Well, I don't know the recipes. I can take one of my all-purposes. I can take one of my spicier barbecues. I can take, these 3 items and mix them together and see if you like it. And, of course, she'll send it to them. And most of the time, people say, yeah, that's not too bad. It's pretty close. But then you got that 25-30% of the people, oh, that's just terrible. You're not anywhere close.
Somebody, a lot of guys won't give you that. If they've created this blend, they won't give you the opportunity this is what I want. This is how I want it. And some people are not open-minded about it, and that's okay. But other people, if you send out that, what I like to do is send out about 4 samples, number them, no name on them, and you pick the one you feel like fits your needs the best. And so many times they'll call back, and it won't be the one we've tried to duplicate for them. It'll be something we've adjusted.
Yeah,
I've cooked pork butts with all these, and this number 2 is hitting home right here. And they'll think this is what I was after, and as it turns out, that opens their mind a little bit. If you would, I think that helps people have an understanding because you can take a butt side by side, and I can cook it, and you can cook it with the same product, and it'll be completely different. That's the thing people don't realize about rub. It's not reinventing the wheel, but everybody's got their own twist.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it too. There's a million different ways you can go with one. Sure. And they're all some combination of the same ingredients. Like we threw up in the video, the basic recipe. You can find those ingredients in some form or fashion just about in every rub recipe. Yeah. It's just quantities of how you throw it in there.
We've probably got 8 or 10 different house barbecue seasonings. They've got pretty well all the same ingredients, just different.
Start the same way, yeah. What's the most expensive ingredient that you guys see that y'all use?
That we use regularly.
What's costing the most in the rub? What's driving the price up?
black pepper, of course, is high.
Really, the black pepper. That's
Black pepper, I mean, it's been really high, but it's crested and it's on its way back down. Garlic, back a couple years ago, of course, we use Chinese garlic because it's the best in the world, they say.
Yeah, I was hoping you brought that up. Was you were talking about that earlier, and we were just hanging out talking. And I didn't know any idea that Chinese garlic was the best.
Yeah, I mean, if you use American garlic, it takes twice as much to be the flavor.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something you can't convince people of. There's
Really?
some things
Yeah, you tell them that's Chinese garlic, and they're like, "Oh, I can't."
Well, I doubt the black pepper's coming from here either. It's not locally grown or anything. I mean,
you definitely can't afford it if it's going. But now it does come to the States whole.
and gets ground.
Yeah, I mean, we can buy it ground out of the States cheaper, but because it comes here whole. They steam it, they clean it, and then they crack it to whatever course you want it.
And it's just so much fresher.
I know that you had sent me just some basic, seasoned ingredients. Black pepper was one of them. That's some of the best black pepper. I don't know if it's because it's so fresh or it's just a better quality, but what grind is that? I call it a restaurant grind because that's what it's close to. Like if you come out of a grinder, but what grind?
The most common is 18 mesh. Is what we
18
sell the
mesh,
most of, and it's available in all sizes you can get, but that's most every rub we do, unless they request something else, is 18 mesh.
Has that in it?
Yeah.
I know it's got. I mean, as far as black pepper, man, it's so fresh. That's what it tastes. Yeah. It tastes phenomenal.
Before we got into the spice deal, everybody's like, I mean, you'd hear somebody say something about like Watkins pepper or something like that. I'm like, oh, there ain't no difference.
And that's a great product.
Yeah.
What's that? Watkins pepper? Yeah. I've never heard of that.
No, they do an awesome job as well.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I get Tones.
I was
whatever they have bulk at Sam's Club. I mean, that's where I buy my spices. There at Kroger, Walmart.
Yeah.
And that's just what we have. I mean, now, there is a store in Memphis. Have y'all ever been to Penzeys? Have y'all ever seen one? Penzeys Spice Store.
I've just looked
Man,
at the website.
they sell so much cool stuff in there. And it's like they have it packaged, but a lot of it they just have it in bulk, and you get what you want in little containers. That way, most people don't need 3 pounds of paprika or whatever. You just go in there and get whatever you need. Man, they've got some cool stuff.
We kind of pride ourselves of that, too, because Townsend's never really had a retail spot. But when we built that building back in 2012, we was like, well, if we're going to be here on Main Street, I mean, we might as well just put it in a little retail. And, of course, our business is 95% wholesale.
Yeah.
But that other 5%, it's cool to come in there and they say, well, how much black pepper can I buy? So, well, you can buy from 2,000 pounds to an ounce.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
You make it happen.
I'm here to please you.
We got to go up there and hang out with y'all. Was that 2 weeks ago? It's been a few weeks back. We went side by side riding down the river.
Big time, too.
Man, that was fun. But we stopped by the store on our way there. When we first got there, we come into Melbourne. And, man, I thought that was the coolest setup y'all have. It's kind of like has that old general store feel with the big counters and then everything on the wall. It's kind of eclectic. It's really neat. If anybody's in Melbourne, Arkansas, they need to stop in and see y'all's store.
We have a big draw. I don't know how many miles, but lots of people come in just to buy their stuff, and it's kind of a destination location.
Really?
They'll come 100 miles and eat lunch, spend the day, and we've made a lot of good friends. Really have.
Coming up there?
Yeah, because, I mean, next to this one being in Memphis, I mean, I don't know of any other local. I mean, where do you go if you want to buy local fresh spices?
Yeah, Penzeys would be the only place that I would know. There used to be one in South Haven. It was like an Indian owned. Some of those world markets or places like that have more spices. But my problem going to those is I don't know what I'm getting in there. Some of it's not even English. So I've been in some of them and bought some stuff, but it's so easy to go to Sam's Club and buy a big bottle of Tones for $5.
Mm-hmm.
If you went and looked in my pantry now, I've probably got 8 of them big, all different seasonings.
And it goes back to what we talked about earlier when that rub, that works. Everybody can pick that up. Everybody can do it, and it's
easy.
One thing that I didn't realize when we started bottling our own seasoning was I thought we had a recipe. We send them a recipe, and they're going to send it back. But I guess there's so many different spices and stuff. When it came back, it wasn't, it didn't taste the same as we did it. So when you go through this process, that's one thing a lot of people don't realize is that you're going to have to do some revisions.
Definitely.
So how many revisions is common, I guess?
Generally, I mean, that's one of the reasons we send 4 different products, 3 or 4 when we make the sample. Because if you're going to the grocery store and you're buying the little Sam's Choice or Best Choice, garlics, onions, stuff like that, it's not going to be as fresh. So when you try ours, a lot of times it's just overwhelming. I mean, they're like, wow, I mean, I didn't realize ours don't have near this flavor. This is way too strong. I don't like this. Then we'll tone it down, kind of do whatever. But generally, 3 or 4 recipes, first time out. And by the second time we send you a sample out, I mean, we'll have it narrowed down enough where you'll either be like, yep, that's it, or here's the one difference that I want to change.
Yeah. So 2 to 3?
Yeah, 2 to 3.
Black pepper and garlic are the 2 things, and chili powder's a third, that are just so much stronger and fresher the way we do it versus what you run to the store and pick up.
So that's what it really probably boils down to. We're not using, if I'm buying Sam's, they're not fresh most of the time.
But,
as fresh as what y'all are getting.
Black pepper is one of those, I mean, it's probably the biggest because you don't realize how hot black pepper is. I mean, because some of the stuff you buy, it may have been sitting in that jar for 2 or 3 years.
So it loses its potency over?
It does over a certain period of time. Either that, I don't know if how long it's been since it's been ground, but the stuff we buy, it's pretty well fresh ground. We don't grind anything in-house, but the heat level, I mean, people, the heavy black pepper rub, and we make it for them like, man, I don't know if you added white pepper, red pepper, what you added, but it's hot.
Then it's just black pepper.
It's just black pepper. Yeah.
What's the hottest pepper y'all bring in? Is there one that's just blow your head off?
Well, that's a funny question.
We had rules about that, but we broke them.
we kind of made a deal when we first started, and then this Carolina and Scorpion, all these peppers were coming around, the ghost peppers, and we made a deal. We was like, look, we're not going to do them. Of course, you've got them people that call, say, oh, I just want the hottest stuff you got. You can't make it too hot for me.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. You can make it. I can eat it. Well, I talked to this guy that he has a chicken wing place, and he used quite a bit of rub. And his recipe called for Scorpion, Ghost, and Carolina Reaper, all 3 of them in one rub. And I said,
what's he trying to do?
That's what I asked him. I said, it's called Gonzo. I said, yeah, because you're going to be gone if you eat it. I mean,
something's going to be gone.
And it's unbelievable. But the usage, I was like, what, one time, I'll try it. And it's, I've never really experimented with them, but they are unbelievably hot.
Really? Did you try it?
Yeah.
You taste it?
You can't. Yeah, they have an awesome flavor, but how's that? I mean, your mouth goes numb when you taste this seasoning.
So you're working with goggles and gloves and respirator and all that stuff?
Put my glasses on, put a respirator on. It was,
I was in my office. We're so tolerant to habanero, jalapeno, cayenne, and we won't think anything about it. Doesn't bother us to have it on. I was in my office working, and my face was burning. And I got up and went, I said, what are you doing, son? And he says, well, I'm making this for this fella. It was unbelievably hot.
Really? But I never experimented with them, but you can hurt somebody with them things.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it, man. I like spice. I can tolerate a little heat, but I want to taste it. As far as the blow your head off, make you sweat and cry and all that, man, I don't get it.
I like a jalapeno.
Yeah.
Habanero is a little hot for me personally. It's got a good flavor.
It does have really good flavors.
Habanero generally is the hottest thing that we stock. Habanero powder.
Yeah. And it's just powdered form. I don't think I've ever seen powdered habanero. That's nothing I've ever, they don't have that at Kroger, I don't think.
It works well.
Do you use powdered jalapeno as well?
Yeah, we do. I got powdered cayenne, jalapeno, and habanero.
They have, I don't know where I got it. I think it was from up at Mike's at 17th Street when y'all were, y'all always sponsor the barbecue contest. And there was some of that jalapeno Greek that y'all did. It's like a Townsend house. Is that one y'all came up with? Or is
that was actually, the Greek recipe is, that's one of them John came up with forever ago. Yeah. And because it's a good all-purpose. You can put it on anything.
Oh, yeah. It's as good as Cavender's. Yeah. I like y'all's better than Cavender's because it's not as powdery. And it's probably because you're using more granulated ingredients a bit.
And that's another thing that people come in and they'll say, I like this better than Cavender's. You can kind of see it better. You can see, you feel better about using it.
Right.
And
Cavender's, you don't know what's in there. It's just some greenish powder comes out. It's good stuff.
It is good. They've done, and Cavender's, they need to be commended.
That's an Arkansas company, isn't it?
They're out of Harrison, and they have done an awesome job. They make salt-free and regular, and they sell it in every state.
Really?
I had a buddy one time, he was working out in Washington State, 60 miles from the Canadian line, and he went into this grocery store, and he said, he called me, he said, you ain't going to believe this.
They got Cavender's.
He said, I'm the furthest point in the United States I can get away from about anything. and there's Cavenders on the shelf.
They've done an excellent job of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't realize they were Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're out of Arkansas. But it's an awesome product. I mean, you can put it on anything. They've done a good job promoting it, but the product pretty well promotes itself.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a great. I like to use blends when I'm cooking because it just makes it so much easier. The magic dust, the chicken. I use it on chicken a lot. Oh, is it chicken dust?
That's magic chicken dust.
Magic
yeah.
chicken dust. Yeah, we use it on chicken tenders a lot.
For salads. We'll make a grilled chicken tender salad real quick. She'll use that, and with some of the Greek too, though.
Yeah.
That's what we used it for.
I'll do half and half. Yeah, the jalapeno Greek is.
I'll tell you another good
of
one
my
I like,
favorite.
that Bar X. That's a good one. It's got a little smoke in it. It's got some hickory or mesquite or something to it, doesn't it? Yeah. It's hickory.
Yeah,
But it's not like, you know how sometimes you get that smoke additive and that just tastes fake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitter.
Yeah, whatever y'all are using, it doesn't taste fake. It gives it some good flavor.
And they do a good job on that company we buy it from.
Is that powder too? Or is it something y'all are treating it with?
No, it's powder, and it's super fine. I mean, it's maybe the finest thing we got.
Is it a salt?
No,
or
it's just hickory. I don't know how they make it.
essence of hickory powderized?
I mean, it says hickory powder.
That's pretty neat.
But like 300 pounds, that Bar X has like 3 pounds in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so fine and it's so stout. I mean,
So it's like powdered sugar consistency kind of?
it's finer than that.
Really?
Oh,
Oh.
really?
I mean, like if you take a cup of it and dump it on this table right here, it'll run like water till it gets flat. It won't sit there at all.
Yeah, it won't
If
follow
you get it
up.
on your fingers, it wants to be liquid. Your fingers will be sticky when it touches.
Yeah,
it
and
pulls
you-
the moisture out.
Yeah.
You can pull a little of it out right here. Come back tomorrow, and it'll just be hard as a rock. It'll draw every bit of moisture it can draw.
Really?
That's weird.
It's so dry and fine.
So, when I have a recipe, I come to you guys, we go through the revision process. Once I get a recipe that I like, what's the next steps? What can I expect after that point?
Well, like I said, he'll break down the cost.
That's the important part, right?
Communicate that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about cost, and then we'll talk about size of container, whether you want it in bulk, and how many you think you want, how many pounds. Give them a breakdown for poundage, and kind of lay all that out and let them decide which direction they want to go, and then we go to work. So.
Do y'all do the labels too, or do you get them, refer them to like outside label
we
companies?
do not. We started out doing that, but it takes so much of our time. I have to communicate with the customer, and then I have to go back to the label company, and it's just a constant back and forth. And I picked up some of those ideas from you guys, and you get all that done, ship it right to me, and then we do it. Because those questions you have to answer.
Yeah,
I
we've
can't
worked
answer.
with several different label companies, and it's
There's
it's a
lot
process.
more- yeah,
It's
that's
a lot more than working just with the rub, because you're doing at the same time you're working on trying to get the flavor right on the recipe. You're working with the designer usually to come up with an idea, and then you go to the label company and work with them on the parameters of what So what happens, depending on the size container you use, usually the co-packer gives you like a label size that they say, okay, our machines will run XYZ size label. Then we have to go back, put our design on a label that size, and work with the label company to create the overall design. And then that's another expense. I mean, labels they're not cheap.
No. And that's when we first started. Like you said, they were, we would take time out and say, okay, what are you looking for? And then we'd have to call the label guy and say, okay, here's kind of what they're looking for. Well, we don't really know what they're envisioning. We just know what they told us.
You're not making the brand for them. You're just working on the rub.
Yeah.
Right?
And then you throw a graphic designer in the mix.
Yeah. But it got to where
It's hard to find a good graphic designer too, man.
it got
It's
to where
hard.
we'd get it approved and it'd come in, the 10 or something be wrong. I'm like, I'm just not really pleased with that. When we finally got to the point where we was like, we'll supply you with a nutrition panel. You get a hold of somebody that can make you a label, design your label. Or if you'll get it designed, I'll put you in touch with who makes our labels. And that kind of drew people into they're more satisfied when they get their own label, especially when they got that little bit of skin in the game. Because like I said, labels aren't cheap. And that kind of drives them to want to buy. They don't want to just throw their labels away.
The tough part to get over the hump of that guy that needs 100 jars, when they set up and run that 100 labels, they're going to rip your head off.
Oh yeah, man, you're paying so
Because they're
much.
having to get paid too, and you understand
That's right.
that. But I've paid $1 a piece for those.
That's what I was going to say. They don't start getting what I say cheap, like, down in that 5-6 cent range until you get up in the 10,000 quantities of labels from what I've seen, the companies I've worked with.
Yeah.
Now that's about, you can usually, the lowest I've seen is like 4.5 cents, but you're buying 80 to 100,000 labels. And that's a ton. I mean, for somebody starting out, they're never going to buy that many.
No. No, I've got this one customer, they won't buy about 100 shakers every 12 to 18 months. Well, they'll call and say, okay, I need another one. $1.18 on top of whatever they're paying us for shaker is label cost.
Right. Yeah.
And they're wanting to change them. And the thing is, they're hard to put on. I mean,
do you have to hand put those on because it's a small batch?
Specialty label, and they just make 100 of them.
Yeah.
And they'll actually peel back. I mean, it's a single label.
We used to do
that.
Man
together. Yeah.
And we'd get them, man, it's so hard to get them all on straight. Mm-hmm. We still are on bottle. We did it like Renegade style. We first started, we were getting it in bulk and bottling and put the heat gun on it, sealing it up, a little cap and all that. You got to start somewhere, though. But it's a job. I mean, you don't realize how hard it is to fill those bottles. And if you're doing it by hand like that, to go back and to label them and to heat shrink them and pack them and all that, that machine makes it so much easier.
It's unbelievable.
What's the time frame? Like from when I first send you a recipe to when I can have bottle in hand? What's the time frame?
I mean, if you just want a bottle with no label on it, we can have it to you that day.
I think you're talking more about what can somebody expect. Man, I'd say, I don't know what y'all say, but from my experience, it's 6 months to a year. Yeah. The process, just going back and forth. Now, y'all may have if they've got a label, and they've got all that, it's different. But if you're having to do the whole process, what do y'all think? What'd you guess?
I mean, the thing is, it depends on how long it takes you to get your labels.
Yeah. I know y'all had a couple new guys working with them from the time, like say they gave you your recipe to where they are now. How long did that take?
We can do it in a couple months pretty easy.
2 or 3 months?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Really good.
Because we'll jump right on it. I mean, we won't, that's one thing. If you call today, we've been used to being able to ship it that day or the next day. But we hadn't been into this bottling deal. Well, now, it takes longer. It may take you 30 days to get your label like you want it. So
that's the hard part.
Yeah. We can have the product ready to run in a week. But we just got to get them labels and get everything approved. And you got to get a lot of people want the UPC code. They got to find that. They got to get the nutrition panel.
Yeah. But that's another animal. We could talk about that. Well, when you're first starting out, I used just buybarcode.com, and they're not associated. Those are codes that somebody else is actually buying and just reselling. I don't know how 100% legal it is, but they do it. But your product isn't actually associated with that code. It's not legit straight up code until you go to GS1. It's like a governmental type.
Cheaper, yeah.
GS1 is expensive. I mean, you're spending a couple $1,000 to get and you get 100 codes. I think that's the smallest level. That's what I have now. I had to convert all mine over because a lot of these people's systems won't even recognize those other codes. It might show up, it's a VCR made in Taiwan and it's your rub if you go just buy a barcode offline, on the internet. Yeah. But if you got to go through GS1 and go through the whole thing, that's a whole nother.
Sure.
I didn't know how to do it, so I kind of walked myself through it, but it's something that you could really need some help with.
Yeah. Do you have to have a UPC code?
No.
I don't know. That's a question for you. Yeah. If you want to sell it in any kind of retail store, I would imagine you do.
But you can sell it online or you can sell it in your own retail location or something.
Anybody that has a point of sale system that's selling for you is going to want a barcode.
Yeah. That way they can scan them in and out. But no, legally, you do not have to have it.
There's no law that says you have to have it?
One thing we do that most people don't is, like you said, once we get established and going, whether you got a restaurant or whatever, you can call us today, butcher shop, whatever it may be. If you want a box of sausage season, a box of rub, we'll send it that day. A lot of places you have to buy 1,000 pounds and store it, and that's a hard thing to do as time goes on. But it's something we've always done, and we want to try to keep that going.
Yeah,
because that goes back to, like we talked about, the guy that can't buy 1,000 pounds, but he's trying to scratch out a living.
And that's a big thing. It's hard to find a co-packer that'll work with you on a smaller scale these days.
It is.
Most of them only want to do 1,000 pounds.
500 to 1,000 is what I see, you know, some of the ones we work with.
And like
minimum, those are minimums,
Yeah,
and that's a
minimum.
lot of product.
yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of guys out there buying, you know.
These backyard guys, I mean,
96
they can't buy
cases.
1,000 pounds
Yeah.
at a time just to cook a few.
No, when you get
cook-offs
started,
a
I wouldn't, it would have scared me to death. When we
It
first
did scare
started,
me.
first time I ordered from our first co-packer, I had to order 500 pounds, and I was like, there's no way we're going to sell 500 pounds. No way. But they let me split it up. So I got some 5-pounders and some bottles. And I think it was like 26 cases of bottles and 10 cases of, I don't know what it was, but we stacked it up in our garage, old house we were in.
And it
And
was
it looked like a mountain to
us.
us. Like, man, we've just spent probably, you know, close to $2,000.
Which is a lot of
Which
money.
was a lot of
for
money
us
when you
back
first
then,
start.
yeah.
You don't have any, you know. And now we look at it, it's like, yeah, you ordering 10, 12 pallets at a time. You know, it's amazing how it grows. But you never know. Like you said, you don't know who the next guy is going to be if you got, you know, if you're working with them. I mean, it might be somebody that's going to sell that much. So you got to start somewhere.
That's right. Well, I think hats off to you guys for what you've accomplished, because you're trying to create awareness in a business that most people are just trying to sell product.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about this, but selling product is not, I mean, that's what you do, but what you're trying to do is teach everybody how to do it in their backyard. Get in your cabinet, you know, everything you do is you're trying to help that guy.
Yeah.
You know, and not everybody does that.
Well, I think spreading that word about barbecue is the most important part. And I've always said that.
Yeah, selling the rub and sauce might pay the bills, but the main goal is information and creating the recipes and things like that. That's what we've always tried to keep our focus on. Is
Yeah, and
I think it makes it
content.
successful too, you know.
yeah, I don't disagree. And y'all need to be commended again. I mean,
I don't know about that.
I mean, you can go on.
Maybe slap because we're crazy.
You can go on. Thing is, you can go on YouTube and you can look up how to smoke alligator, stuff that you're never gonna do, or you can go to HowToBBQRight and I can learn how. I may go home tonight and cook chicken wings, and I may have a question. And I don't have to call you. I'll just get on YouTube.
That's true.
I mean, everything you do. I mean, anybody can do it.
Or the app. You got the app?
I don't.
Oh man, you need to download the app. It's all on there.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was an
Oh
option.
yeah. Android or iPhone, whatever you got, free too.
I'd recommend that meatloaf.
The meatloaf, you do like the
Keep bringing
meatloaf,
that
right?
meatloaf up, but it's awesome.
I'm thinking that 3-pound tomahawk steak from PK.
that was the best steak I've ever eaten. The big one, yeah. It was a high quality cut. What was it?
It was a prime.
Prime.
From Matador, I believe.
Yeah.
Matt sent me those, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I ain't gonna lie.
We actually had to make sure that it would fit on the PK before, and it barely fit.
Yeah, before starting filming that,
Yeah.
I don't even know if this thing's gonna fit.
Did you have to build 2 fires on different sides? So you,
I just did like a 2-zone, you know, just to do that, but it was awesome. It was.
well, it looked.
Well, so y'all got a state contest coming up. I saw it's on the schedule.
Yeah.
Melbourne, Arkansas. Are y'all helping promote? Are you promoting it, or is
We
it
are.
is it Townsend?
Yeah, we're the promoter.
Well, we'll be
10th.
there. We're gonna load up and drive over there.
Yeah.
It's only 3 hours for us. It's
You
not
gonna
that
bring
bad.
side?
Man, if I bring a steak trailer, it'd be hard. I had to bring a convoy.
Hey, all you got to do is bring a barbecue grill.
Yeah. I don't know what we're gonna do. I know we're coming. I don't know how we're gonna do it. The bad
School's
thing is
back
it's in
in.
August, right? Yeah.
August 10th, yeah.
I wish it was like the weekend before school started.
Yeah,
That'd have been a
school's
good
back in
last
session.
hoorah.
Hey, like I told Mike the other day, you don't learn nothing first week.
First week. Just doesn't go. They won't count you absent.
Yeah, they don't count you absent first week.
You didn't know, huh? We're usually ready for school to start back. It's like we're counting the days down. It's time. Yes.
Boy, you had a big time up there.
Man, we did. That was fun. If people don't know about that part of Arkansas on the White River, it is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, that where we went to the rivers, Mount Olive, right?
Yeah.
And it's just was it about 15 miles from or 16 miles from Melbourne, something like that, down Highway 9, is it?
Right.
Yep.
But that is some beautiful stretch of land right there. I didn't know there was hills like that and that close to my house.
It makes it hard to leave home.
I bet it does.
Really does.
Some of the best trout fishing in the world right there.
Yep.
See, I've been going over there for years, but we've been going a little further north up to Calico, which isn't too far above you. I mean,
No, it's about 12 miles on the river.
yeah, on the actual river.
Yeah.
So, So I'd been fishing there and didn't even know Mount Olive was there.
We didn't know you was that close to God
Didn't know.
country.
I didn't know. We always went north. You know, we'd put in fish and we'd go north and fish back south. We didn't go south. I mean, I guess straight down the river wouldn't be no time. Right at y'all's cabin, wouldn't it?
No, it's a 20-minute boat ride.
Yeah.
We
Wide
got
open.
these 2 or 3 day
All
events,
around.
and on about the second day, we're looking at each other like, we could
Be
sleep
back
out here and
home.
Be back home.
We could be
And
standing.
we do a lot,
Yeah.
because we love it.
I mean, but the thing is, you wake up on Sunday morning at an event somewhere, and you're like, man, I've just burnt this weekend. I could be standing waist deep, catch a smallmouth.
There you go.
It's a 6-mile boat
Or deer
ride.
hunting or turkey hunting.
Whatever.
Yeah.
This time of year, though, it's hard. Everything's greening up. Turkeys are gobbling, and you're just like, man.
I tell you, I enjoyed the most just riding around up there on the back roads, man. You got miles and miles.
Yeah,
And it's
good.
beautiful.
And yeah,
It's just beautiful.
crossing creeks and I mean, just going up hills. It's awesome.
I've never really ridden. We talked about this before, but I've never really, ridden on side by sides, like made an event of it. It was always a way to get from point A to point B, but that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
We got to get that on the schedule.
And there'll be times up there, there's 25, 30 people riding like that.
Oh, yeah. And see, down in Mount Olive, where we live, I mean, that's kind of a cult. You can't really get in down there unless you got something.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the status
Yeah.
quo, huh?
And
You gotta have one.
If you're having a party or something, because like we used to make fun of it, but like if somebody gets a load of gravel, you gotta have a party. Whatever it is, you gotta have a party.
I just make an excuse to have a party.
Yeah, we'll build.
It's a gravel party.
Yeah, we'll have. We got a fire going. Yeah,
Does that mean y'all just sit around drinking beer watching somebody spread gravel?
Oh, pretty well.
You got a fish fry or a cookout or whatever it is, and
Yeah.
everybody. When you get there on Friday, you don't get back in your vehicle. If you're there,
Yeah.
you ride your side by side. And there'll be 20 of them
Yeah.
sitting around the yard. Anytime we have an event,
Well,
you
like-
guys were there.
Yeah.
Like
That
4th of
was
July.
that was a year ago.
How many side by sides were there 4th of July?
Man, everybody had one.
I mean, it's
Everybody did.
unbelievable.
That was fun. That was the first time we got to go up there, and you had that was nice of y'all. Y'all invited a bunch of people out and did a big fish fry. Man, the guy frying fish was awesome. Was he the sheriff? You
He's
said
our sheriff.
He's a
now,
sheriff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he is good at it.
Yeah, he
And
was.
I'm picky about catfish. Like, I came from catfish country, and he cooked it.
But you know what I
right
said? I
way.
said this man ain't from Arkansas.
He's not.
I knew, and I knew that when I ate them catfish. I said that man ain't from
He's
Arkansas.
from
You
Mississippi.
knew where he's from, didn't you?
I knew he wasn't from Arkansas. He's from Mississippi. Yeah,
Mississippi.
yeah. Because the way he's cooking fish, I guarantee you,
It was that.
that's Mississippi fish.
Ain't no Arkansas boy cooking like that.
I ain't saying they can't. I'm just saying that style of fish like that is a Mississippi. Not many people know how to do it. I mean, unless you're from Mississippi.
And it's not just Mississippi, it's central Mississippi, typically.
Yeah.
And around the Delta area.
Where's he
Jackson
from?
area.
Greenville, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's native, but that's
Is that
that's where he
Central
moved.
Delta?
Yeah.
Greenville, that's in the heart of the Delta. Yeah.
So, just kind of to recap about, the process. When we got our first bottle, how much did it cost us? About $2,000 is what we said?
That was what I would say we probably put into it.
And that was a while ago. So
But that
what
don't
would
count all the testing and stuff I was doing at home trying to get it to what I thought was the recipe.
Yeah. But
When
that
we
was our
first-
label
yeah.
cost and our bottle cost?
I don't know what I spent. I bet labels was another $500 or $600 bucks just to get started off.
Yeah. And we ended up with, how many cases would you say?
I think 26
26 cases.
of
Yeah.
bottles, and then the rest was 5-pounders.
Yeah.
Probably 25 cases of 5-pounders.
So what's the cost nowadays for someone looking to get started? Would you ballpark it?
You wanting bottles?
Yeah, bottles to retail to sell.
Generally in between that $3, $3.50.
Okay.
I mean,
$4.
yeah,
some of them.
$4 on the high side generally. But on average, you'll do mid threes.
And that's for like a 16-ounce size?
Yeah, it's a 16-ounce bottle. It'll hold anywhere from 10.5 to 15 ounces of product.
I would say you might as well go ahead and figure it's going to be $4 a bottle. If you might come in
Small
under
batches,
that,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
You got to figure that label cost because you're going to be bearing that cost
Yeah.
prior to that. So.
And you got to
Yeah.
work it into your bottom line.
Yes.
Yeah.
you got to all that. Even some of them, like you have to buy the caps, and now I don't know all co-packers, but some of them don't furnish the bottles. You have to buy the bottles from a company. You have to buy the caps that go on them. Have to have them sent there. Then have to have the label sent there.
We
And
do
all they're doing is making spices.
We have all that in stock. And,
And that seems like it'd be a headache because you never know how's your capper going to learn what
Yeah, I
cap
don't
you're
know.
gonna
I
put
don't
on
know.
it.
That's what. If I was running them, I'd want them to all be the same. Y'all officially use my jar. in my lid. You know, I might could source a different color or something for you, but we're going to use a standard.
And that's the thing. We've got 2 jars and 2 lids that we run through our machine. But
there's a bunch of different, I mean, you don't think about it. There's a bunch of different jars out there for rubs. They're not all just clear with black or red top.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
You got like the Cavendish style. I mean, you got all different kinds of things. I tell you, he's got some cool ones. Traeger. Have y'all seen those little cans? I'm like, man, there's no telling what they got in cost in those, is it?
Well, no, and we mentioned this earlier, but they've spent a lot of money and created that
marketing.
brand and done their marketing team is fantastic.
They are. They're going on a whole different model. They're not on a barbecue model. They're on a whole different groundbreaking type, you know. They've taken cues from the big time companies like Apple and things like that. They're on a whole different level, really.
Or Yeti.
Yeti, yeah.
Looks like it's more lifestyle marketing, I guess.
Yeah, that's what they're going for, that lifestyle, yeah.
We're doing lifestyle too. They just don't know it. Yeah, barbecue lifestyle.
Step up, yeah.
White River DJ.
That's right. White River DJ in the house.
So,
wait till that river warms up. How warm does it get? It don't get much warmer than 53, does
About
it?
as warm today as it's going to be.
No, I was thinking like earlier, we was talking about, me and another guy jumped in at New Year's Eve night. Well, I was dreading it bad, but I told him I'd do it. So we go down there in our Ranger, New Year's Eve night. We're both got our swim trunks and Crocs on. We lock arms and run off the boat ramp. Of course, we got in it and we was like, well, this ain't too bad.
It's warmer than
because it's warmer than it was outside.
Yeah,
but now, 4th of July, when it's 95 degrees and you jump in it, your heart about quits.
Man, I've never seen somebody get back in the boat so fast. We was upriver.
Yeah.
My buddy was with us. I think it was like July or something. We were there fishing a bachelor party. He jumped. He was going, I'm going to jump in this water. It ain't nothing to it. Well, he jumped in. What Joker coming right back out faster than he went in. Couldn't breathe. It took his breath.
who was that?
Handicap.
I figured you were going to say that. So does someone have to be in your area to work with you guys? Or could they be from all over?
No, we've got customers all over the country. Yeah, we sure do.
Where's the farthest place y'all ship to?
We ship to
Washington,
Jamaica, New York, really? Idaho, California.
Yeah, so y'all do y'all ship all over.
Yellowstone.
Well, yeah, there's actually a guy that just opened a barbecue restaurant at the gates of Yellowstone.
Really? How'd they find y'all? Internet?
I don't really remember.
Word of mouth referral or something?
Little Mike's in Rigby, Idaho. And the second one's Firehole Barbecue.
Well, you do a lot of the conferences and stuff, so you probably y'all meet a lot of people, don't you?
And this guy, it was one of them funny deals.
That's crazy that they're making the rub in Arkansas and shipping it all the way.
This guy had a gift box, and it had Big Hog Barbecue in it. I don't know where he got it. I don't remember. It was probably something we donated to the event, and he ended up with one. Well, all of a sudden, our website, he'd go on the internet and order 15 1-pound bags of Big Hog Barbecue. And we didn't know who this guy was. And we're like, we'd email him back. If you'll just call us, we'll sell it a little cheaper. We'll give you the wholesale price since you're buying 15 pounds at a time. Save you a little on shipping and everything. Next time, 10 or 15 pounds on the internet. Finally, I just pick up the phone calling, and it's this Mike guy. Yeah. He said, well, it's easy, convenient. I can just go on there and order it. Don't have to worry about it. It shows up here. I pay for it with my card. Done. I said, well, look, I'll set you up, and I'll send you a 30-pound box, and you don't have to open these 1-pound bags. And I said, it'll be $4.50 a pound versus $6.50.
So it saved you money, too.
And he said, wow, I should have done this forever ago. Well, yeah, definitely.
Double the product.
They were featured on Triple D, one of his Yellowstone, or if it's a Rigby location, too, a while back. Good people. Good people.
You ever been up there? That's a beautiful part, man.
I have not.
We went up to Montana up there, which wasn't too far from where we were, and it's unbelievable.
Some of the people were with Yellowstone.
Yeah.
While we were there.
Think about what we do. How many good people have you met and made friends with since you started?
Man, in barbecue, everybody's like that.
It's unbelievable.
It's incredible how the family of barbecue and how good the people are that are involved with it. I mean, not saying that there's probably some bad apples, but I don't know many of them.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're willing to help, too.
They are.
Yeah, the barbecue family as a whole, about any of them will help you in any way they can.
Yeah.
So is there anything about your contest you want to get out? It's in August, what? 10th?
August the 10th at Cooper's Hawk Golf Course in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Everybody sign up. That's what we want.
Yeah, sign up. I don't think you got a problem getting teams. What's the payout? Is it $1,000 for first? Yeah. Just typical standard SCA payout, $150 entry?
We're going to do
we're doing 125 entry or 150?
$125.
Oh, that's a good entry. Yeah.
We're gonna do a 1-bite challenge too.
1-bite challenge.
Completely open, like no rules.
No rules.
SCA rules.
Look out.
Yeah.
I see you, girl. You got them gears turning over there, girl.
Be careful.
The folks that
what
play
you got up
music,
your sleeve?
is your place going to come out there?
We talked about it. We haven't nailed it down, but I think so. I think they're open to it.
If anybody wants to play golf, bring the golf clubs. It's a public course there, right?
It's the number 1 public course in Arkansas.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
by that time of year, the course, I mean, it's just phenomenal. They do an excellent job.
So you can bring your fishing pole and catch trout, smallmouth. You can bring your golf clubs, and you can bring your grill and cook a steak. Why
Bring
wouldn't
you
you
side
want?
by side.
Why wouldn't you want to go?
Well, yeah. And
I'm in.
Sam's got the restaurant there. You guys ate there the other day.
Yeah, the restaurant's good, man.
He does that.
Dude, he did Mark ordered it. It was a cheese skirt burger. That was the one it impressed me
cheddar skirt.
so much.
Yeah.
It was basically, it looked like he just took a bunch of cheddar cheese and threw it out on the griddle some kind of way. Let it get good and melted where it got crispy. It didn't stick, and put the burger on it, flipped it up off of it on top of the bun, and then served it. Man, it's just got this cheese skirt all the way around the outside.
Yeah, I don't
And
know
then you
where-
kind of fold it up on it and eat it. And it, oh, man. It
The
was,
crunch is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know where he came up with that, but boy, that was an awesome idea.
that was good. I can't, what did I have? I had the fish, catfish,
Cajun
yeah.
fish.
They were good. They were good. They were real good fish. They weren't Mississippi, but they were. But he had some good food, man. His quesadillas look good too. I didn't get to try them.
Oh,
They
you
look
can't
good.
beat the case.
That's what you ordered.
Yeah.
The house one. It's like loaded.
Yeah.
Put everything on it.
Drag it through and let her walk out.
Yeah.
You don't make many mistakes out there ordering. He does a great job.
That's what we talked about the other day. You can order about anything off his menu and be satisfied with it.
Well, Shell, anything else we got to talk about today? You wanna-
No, I feel like if someone was interested in, bottling their own rub, they probably have a pretty good idea. Is there any other, information y'all would want to get out there to someone who's interested in working with y'all?
You bet. I mean, it's not only, you don't have to be just the bottle person. Like if you're a backyard competitor, you cook 5 or 6 barbecue cook-offs a year and you got your own recipe and it's nothing too, just bizarre. Call me. I'll work you through it.
If you got your great uncle's recipe, you can make it happen.
Call me. Like, we'll work through. If you want to buy 10 pounds a year, I'll make it for you. It don't
And
matter.
you can get it in a box. You don't have to get a bottle. You don't
Yeah,
have to do
you
the
don't have to
labeling
buy a
Bag,
process.
box, tub, however you want.
Yeah, I can
Nobody
do it.
does that anymore. And that's the thing. Like I said, that's how you build relationships and keep them with people is 10 pounds, 5, 10, 30 pounds, whatever it is you need for an event. We'd like to do that. So.
Yeah, and that reminds me of this one customer that I've got. I can't remember his name. His last name's Thatch. But he brings a case of quart mason jars every year. Okay. And he has his own recipe. It's hot meat seasoning. And
It's like a barbecue rub, or
it's just a all-purpose hot.
Yeah.
It's way hot. I don't know what he does with it, but it's hot. But
know what he does.
he brings 12 brand new mason jars, unopened. I cut the top off, open them, put 2 pounds of product in them. I make him 24 pounds every year.
Close it up.
Close it up, put it back in there, run a piece of tape across it. He leaves the jar an hour and a half, goes back.
Yeah.
There you go.
I guess Christmas presents probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, though.
That's a
Boy,
good idea,
I get in
too.
trouble if I
He
don't.
might be burying them somewhere, Shane. I think it'll be worth something one day. Who
And
knows?
if someone just a lot of times companies just want to put their name on a rub or a spice and give it as, promotional items, they could just come. Do y'all do,
House brand
house
relabeling. I'm
brand
sure y'all do,
relabeling.
don't you? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
We do a lot of that.
Yeah,
We do a lot of fundraiser stuff, hospitals, schools, things like that.
yeah.
One of the most unique ones that we've had was just the other day. This guy called and he said, I'm trying to promote my funeral home.
He wanted some.
I said, okay, what can I get you? And he said, I'm looking to spend $2.50 to $3 on something small. I need 100 of them. Of course, we don't really advertise them, but we've got a little 4-ounce jar. And if you're going to buy 100 or 200 of them, we'll put one of our products in them. And he wanted something. He just wanted his funeral home name on it, the number, and the address. So he's having an open house at his funeral home, and he's
What do you
giving-
want to do? Some full of salt and MSG? We're going to drum up some business.
He said, "What's the most unearthly stuff you got?"
Yeah. What's the stuff that'll put you in an early grave?
And lots of it.
Lots of it. Grave digger rub. That's a good product. Grave. That's probably trademarked on the monster truck. But that'd be a good rub. No grave digger.
That's an unusual way to promote a funeral home.
It is. I use most things in calendars.
Yeah.
I like his style. But yeah, so guys, tell them everybody where they can find you. We ain't even talked about that.
We're at 725 East Main in Melbourne, Arkansas.
Yeah, or you can find us at townsendspice.com. That's TOWNSEND spice.com.
Call you on the phone too?
Call us on the phone, 870-368-3688. We're easy to find.
We'll put all that in the description so folks got a way to contact you when we get the video up. And Chill?
Sign up for the steak contest.
In August, right?
August
SCA
10th.
It's
August,
posted
Melbourne,
on the
Arkansas.
SCA website already. We planned for 50. Would like to have 100 teams.
Wow, that'd be monstrous if you get 100 there.
Yeah, y'all got the space?
We do.
Good.
We think.
We think.
Oh, the golf course is on board 100%. They're excited about it.
Yeah, awesome. I know it's going to be a good time. So
Yeah, we'll be steak team. Steak team on.
steak team's
Look at
coming.
this shirt right here.
Yeah, you got the steak man shirt on. I'm ready. You going to cook in it too?
I don't know. I kind of hate the cooking an event we're putting on.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to. I just want
Yeah.
to go in there and cook and beat everybody. But I want a Cooper's Hawk.
That look a
It
little
ain't
fishy.
rigged. Yeah. Are they going to do a judging class or anything up there to get some judges? Or you know a date on that yet?
I think the way I read it, they're going to do. Now, they'll do like a judges, but they'll do a little crash course the morning of that.
Yeah. But were they going to certify some people beforehand? So
I
if you
don't
need
know the
any?
answer to that.
I know that a lot of times new contests they like to if they don't have that many judges in the area, so they can get some certified ones. That's all SCA questions. We'll have to ask those guys.
Yeah.
But hey, Shell, where can they find us?
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. HowToBBQRight. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell, Instagram and Twitter.
Hey, we appreciate y'all checking us out today, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank y'all for coming, for doing the YouTube video, for sitting in here in the podcast with us. If anybody's got any questions, man, y'all send them to us, and we'll get Shane and Lawson to answer them. And man, y'all let's get to cooking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see y'all next time.
See you.